It's one of history's great ironies. Rome absolutely revered Greek culture. We're talking their philosophy, their art, their gods, the whole shebang. So how on earth did the student end up conquering the master? The story of how Rome absorbed Greece is, without a doubt, one of the most pivotal moments in history, and it's probably not what you think. Okay, let's dive right in. So, was this some kind of grand plan, a long-term strategy for domination cooked up in the Senate from the very beginning? Or was it something else entirely? Well, the answer is a lot more chaotic and, frankly, a whole lot more interesting. See, the conquest of Greece wasn't this single, planned-out event. It was more like a series of escalating entanglements, a chain reaction where one conflict just inevitably set off the next. You can think of it like a line of dominoes. And it all started with a problem that, at first glance, had absolutely nothing to do with conquering Greece at all. That first domino to get pushed over wasn't a kingdom or some rival empire. Nope, it was a bunch of pirates running wild in the Adriatic Sea. And Rome's decision to finally do something about them, well, that decision would end up changing the world forever. It really did begin as a simple policing action. Roman merchants were getting attacked, their goods were being stolen, so the Senate did what you'd expect. They sent diplomats. But when an envoy was murdered, Rome's response was, well, let's just say it was overwhelming. After a quick, decisive victory, they even came back a decade later to smack down a former ally who had double-crossed them. And just like that, almost by accident, Rome now had a permanent stake in the Greek world. Now, here's the crucial part. How did Rome maintain control without leaving legions parked everywhere? They used this very clever, very Roman diplomatic tool called amicitia. It literally translates to friendship. Sounds nice, right? Well, in reality, it meant you were now a client of Rome. You were free, sure, as long as your idea of freedom was doing exactly what Rome wanted. And this new Roman friendship zone put them right on the doorstep of the first great Hellenistic power, the Kingdom of Macedon. The heirs of Alexander the Great. Yeah, a collision was pretty much inevitable at this point. And here's how that next domino fell. That fugitive Illyrian leader, Demetrius, he flees straight to King Philip V of Macedon. And he convinces Philip that Rome is weak, that they're tied up in a desperate war against Hannibal back in Italy. He argued it was the perfect time to strike. This conflict was a legendary clash of military doctrines. On one side, you have the Macedonian phalanx, this impenetrable walking wall of 16-foot pikes. It's like a human steamroller on open ground. But on the other side, you've got the Roman legion. It was flexible, made up of small, adaptable units that could exploit any crack, any piece of uneven terrain. And at the decisive Battle of Cynoscephalae, the legions found those gaps. They just swarmed the phalanx from the sides and the rear, where those long pikes were totally useless. The result was an absolute slaughter. Flexibility had shattered rigidity. Just look at the numbers. 8,000 Macedonians killed, for only 700 Roman losses. After this massive victory, the Roman general Flaminius stands before all the Greeks at the Isthmian Games and declares them free. Can you imagine the scene? Cheers erupting for these liberators who had just killed thousands to achieve this freedom. It's complicated. But Rome's new role as the protector of Greece would very soon be tested. So, with Macedon humbled, the next domino was already starting to wobble. Another Hellenistic giant, the sprawling Seleucid Empire from the east, saw a power vacuum in Greece and decided, hey, maybe we should challenge Rome's new authority. And the trigger, once again, came from the Greeks themselves. The Aetolian League, who used to be Rome's allies, got pretty wary of their powerful new protectors. So they invited the mighty Seleucid king Antiochus the Great to come and liberate Greece from the Romans. The irony is just incredible. Antiochus brought a massive army, but honestly, the result was pretty much the same. The legions cornered him at the historic pass of Thermopylae, then pursued him all the way into Asia Minor, where they completely crushed his main force at the Battle of Magnesia. In just 2 years, the second great Hellenistic power was broken. And the peace terms they imposed were just devastating. Antiochus had to give up a huge swath of territory, pay a crippling amount of money, and completely dismantle his military machine, from his war elephants all the way down to his navy. Rome had effectively erased the Seleucids as a Mediterranean superpower. Okay, so at this point, Rome pretty much controls the entire Greek world through its network of friends and allies. But this system of indirect rule, it was proving to be really unstable. The Greeks kept fighting amongst themselves, and frankly, Rome was getting tired of playing referee. And the final proof came from the exact place where it all began, Macedon. A new king, Perseus, the son of Philip V, rebuilt his army and started challenging Roman authority. For Rome, this was the last straw. The whole experiment of a free Greece was officially over. At the Battle of Pydna, the legions delivered the final crushing blow. The result was even more one-sided this time. 20,000 Macedonians were killed. The phalanx and the dream of Macedonian power was buried for good on that field. After Pydna, the end came really fast. Rome put down a pretender to the Macedonian throne, and then the Achaean League, in what can only be described as a final suicidal act of defiance, declared war on the Republic. It was a completely hopeless fight.
And this time, Rome's response was not to offer freedom. To make an example, to send a message to the entire world, they utterly destroyed the ancient and wealthy city of Corinth in 146 BC. The men were killed, the women and children were sold into slavery, the message was brutal and clear. The time for friendship was over. The age of obedience had begun.
And so, after nearly a century of these escalating wars, the final phase began. Graecia capta. Greece captured. What had started as a campaign against pirates ended in total annexation. The new reality was crystal clear. The old heartland of Macedon and the Greek leagues were all reorganized into a Roman province, ruled directly by a Roman governor. The remaining allies were allies in name only. All meaningful independence was gone. From pirates to Philip, from Antiochus to Perseus, each domino had knocked over the next, pulling Rome deeper and deeper into the Greek East, until there was nothing left to do but take it all. The chain reaction was finally complete. Which brings us right back to our original question. Looking at this whole cascade of events, was Rome's conquest of Greece a calculated masterstroke of imperial ambition, or was it simply the result of a superpower reacting to one crisis after another until it accidentally found itself master of the known world? That's really something to think about.